What happens when the public image of a beloved Hollywood legend is shattered by a hidden tragedy? This is the story of the death of two-time Oscar winner Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, who were found dead under mysterious circumstances in their New Mexico home. The discovery sent shockwaves through both their family and fans alike, leading investigators to uncover unsettling clues and secrets that would unravel the picture-perfect life they had seemingly led. It all started on a quiet February morning when two maintenance workers arrived at the expansive Santa Fe mansion, expecting to complete routine repairs. What they stumbled upon was nothing short of chilling. The front door of the house was left wide open, a seemingly innocuous detail that, in hindsight, now seemed a foreboding sign. As they entered the large, dimly lit home, a heavy silence filled the air, and the atmosphere was thick with a sense of decay, as if time itself had stopped. In a secluded room near the back door, Gene Hackman, at the age of 95, lay motionless, his cane and sunglasses placed neatly beside him as though he had simply slipped and fallen. But as investigators continued their search through the house, they discovered the body of Betsy Arakawa in the bathroom. The scene was disturbing. Unlike the dignified rest one might expect from a long, happy life, her body was surrounded by scattered pills near an open prescription bottle. An overturned space heater sat nearby, adding to the sense of disarray. Both bodies showed signs of advanced dehydration and decay, suggesting they had been dead for several days, perhaps even weeks, before anyone noticed. The discovery raised even more questions. Two of their three dogs were found alive and well on the property, but the third had passed away in a crate, adding to the suspicion of neglect and a breakdown of normal routines. There were no signs of forced entry, and everything in the house, from the open door to the disorganized medications, spoke of a tragedy that had quietly unfolded. Yet, amid all the clues that pointed to a natural death or a tragic overdose, something didn't sit right. The mystery deepened. Authorities quickly began ruling out potential causes of death, with one of the first being carbon monoxide poisoning, a common cause of death in homes with gas appliances. However, when experts from the New Mexico Gas Company tested the home, they found no dangerous leaks or faulty equipment that could have led to such a fatal situation. With that theory dismissed, attention turned toward the possibility of a self-inflicted tragedy or a simultaneous natural collapse due to unknown health issues. Yet, the investigation continued to raise more questions than answers. The odd details of the scene, the open door, the unusual placement of personal effects, and the overall disarray of the home, suggested something far more sinister. As investigators dug deeper, they examined every aspect of the couple's lives, including their digital evidence. The couple's cell phones, health records, and a monthly planner were crucial in uncovering the events leading up to their deaths. It was clear that something, or someone, had influenced the last days of their lives. But the question was, who? Was there someone behind the scenes manipulating events? Was it possible that this tragedy was not an accident but the result of a darker betrayal? Behind the Hollywood spotlight, Gene Hackman had lived a private life in New Mexico, far removed from the glitz and glamour of Hollywood. His wife, Betsy, was a devoted partner who had cared for him during his later years, supporting him through health scares, financial struggles, and the pressures of aging. To the outside world, they were the picture of a loving, peaceful couple. But as with most families, things were not always as they seemed. Behind their peaceful exterior lay a web of strained relationships and family secrets. Gene Hackman had children from previous marriages, and these relationships were complicated by conflicting emotions and old resentments. His children often found themselves torn between admiration for their famous father and the difficult reality of reconciling his public persona with the man they knew in private. Over time, the family dynamics grew increasingly tense, particularly when disputes over inheritance, money, and control of Hackman's vast legacy began to surface. One individual who increasingly came under suspicion was Gene's son. Known for his unpredictable behavior and strained relationship with his father, he had long been a source of conflict within the family. While many expected him to be in mourning after the death of his parents, no one anticipated that his financial struggles and deep-seated resentment would ultimately intertwine with the tragedy that befell them. Whispers of old arguments, jealousy, and disputes over money had long circulated behind closed doors, and it was now becoming clear that these family tensions could hold the key to unraveling the mystery. As investigators combed through digital records and personal messages found on the couple's phones and planners, a disturbing pattern began to emerge. Text messages that seemed innocuous at first glance were now revealing secret meetings, last-minute cancellations, and cryptic messages about family matters and financial concerns. It soon became apparent that someone within the family was involved in this tragedy, and all signs pointed to Gene Hackman's son. His mobile phone records showed entries that aligned with critical moments during the days leading up to the deaths, and suspicions surrounding his involvement grew stronger. As more evidence came to light, the theory of a natural death or accidental overdose began to crumble. The evidence suggested that the deaths of Gene and Betsy were not merely the result of aging or health problems, but rather a much darker and more complex situation. The digital footprints they had left behind, the last-minute changes in appointments, the secretive text messages, and the family disputes painted a picture of a family on the edge of disaster. Betrayal, greed, and long-buried family secrets had all played a role in the tragedy. The question that had loomed from the very beginning, was there a hidden hand behind the deaths of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa, was slowly being answered. As investigators pieced together the final days of their lives, it became clear that the quiet retreat in New Mexico had masked a deeply troubled family dynamic. And the tragic deaths of two beloved figures in Hollywood would soon be revealed to be the result of something far more sinister than anyone could have imagined.